Let's go. Okay, final talk. And first of all, I mean, obviously, I will show something different in a second, but first of all, I have to thank everyone who went on this adventure and to present live, doing live demos. So we could see there was stuff not working, which is totally fine. So this was I would not say it was the purpose of this whole format, but I mean, in the end, like it's how it works. Everyone who works in data knows that stuff. At least I'm one of the persons when stuff is working immediately, I get very suspicious. So for that, it was a really good experience, and so I mean, I watched everything. If you haven't watched yet, I will tomorrow. I will change. I will share again like the list with all the links, and so like all the talks, they are already now available on LinkedIn. They are already available on YouTube, so you can just watch everything. Yeah, so again, like I'm super happy for everyone who presented something and yeah, tried out this kind of experience. And so it was the format that I was really looking for. So I mean, I'm super selfish with that. So I have a perfect way how I can learn, and this is like watching other people doing things. And so this translates immediately and sticks in my head. And so if I have to read everything, it would take so much longer. It was very selfish of me because I learned a lot of things over the 2 days. Yeah, so I already have some ideas what I will do next. And I will close everything now with, let's say, sharing something that I'm doing a lot lately. So first of all, I'm just hoping that the audio is good enough. So because in the whole chaos, I forgot to set up proper microphone, and so I'm just using my AirPods. It's just sometimes okay, but sometimes not really. So if you're watching it right now and you can hear me okay, feel free to just post a quick comment wherever you're watching. So then I'm relieved. I don't have to be concerned that it's not working properly. If you, yeah, so that would be nice. If not, it's also fine. I can just keep going. So what I want to do today, what I want to show. So I had different kind of ideas, but in the end, like I ended up with this one. So let me start to share. All right. So okay, so what you see is like a metric tree, and I was definitely thinking about doing a session about metric tree, but then I knew that Ollie was doing a really good session about metric tree, and I thought like, okay, like he's perfect, so I don't have to add something to it. And so I'm just showing this like because like this is where it got started. So a while ago, Amplitude approached me and asked me, okay, can you maybe create an e-commerce dashboard that we can use for a template? And so I created the first one, and then I thought maybe I can do another version which also like incorporates a metric tree. And so the major thing that I wanted to show is that in e-commerce, it's really so. Put it like this: something I'm obsessed with lately is the whole notion of understanding user states. So I wrote a long piece on Substack about that. And so like, okay, what are user states? So we have new customers. So these are customers coming to our shop in the last 30 days, for example. So however you want to find it. And they buy something for the first time. So these are new customers. And obviously at some point, we hope they become returning customers. And this is like the first step of the journey that we want to have them going. So, okay, do the second order. Great. Maybe third, fourth one. At some point, we want to move them into becoming VIP customers. However, we define VIP customers. And so VIP customers can let's say, based on a number of orders, can be based on specific kind of revenue. So however you want to call it. So, but in the end, like we are moving with our customers throughout these different kind of levels. And I mean, like we can also lose them again. So obviously VIP customers can churn and they can go, let's say, go away and don't order anymore. And so maybe at some point we even have a rule set where we say, okay, these are now new customers again. Anyway, so this is a system we can design. So I use this and I just created a dashboard for it. And so I created this kind of dashboard that I think it's okay. So it basically shows what we just saw on the metric tree. So we start with the output metric, which is total revenue. And then we break it down by these three segments. So like returning, new, and VIP. And so in a quick glance, I can really see, okay, where do we make most of the revenue? And here, for example, like I definitely like the last chart most because like this is like the share of this customer type over time. And so we can see, yeah, so yeah, new looks definitely, it definitely has trends. And so it would be interesting to figure out why we do have these trends. But this is definitely something that a lot of people should get concerned about. So we are dropping VIP users quite significant, at least like we're dropping the share of VIP users. So, I mean, here we can see the revenue from VIP users and we see the similar trend. So this is already pointing in the same direction. We should get a little bit concerned about it. On the other side, we can see, okay, we making a good job of getting people from new customers into returning customers because like we can see the share of returning revenue is definitely increasing. And we can also see like, unless this dip, it should be interesting to figure out. Here we can also see like, yeah, so returning customer revenue is also growing. So that's great. So I have to tell you a secret, and I'm usually quite open with it, so it's not a big secret. I really hate to build dashboards. So, or maybe hate is a strong word for that. So I don't feel pleasure building dashboards. Maybe this is the better thing. So I was just talking to a friend of mine who loves building dashboard, and he was just describing what makes it so fascinating for him, and so you could really feel his passion about this, and so how he approached it, and so on. I was listening to it, and I was saying like, yeah, that doesn't really trigger it for me. So I have other things which can create this passion. So I have passions to create metric trees, for example. I have passions to create tracking designs. I have passions to create a data model. So this is something where I can talk like this. But usually with a dashboard, it's like, just get it done. And so you can see me, like I'm very technical with a lot of things. So yeah, I mean, I just put like time series in here, which is helpful for me because yeah, I know it's a time series shot, but for people consuming it, it's usually not so good. So one thing that I use a lot more, I would say, okay, I still do this. Okay. So one thing that I use a lot more, I would say the last 2 or 3 months is I'm not using AI to generate any kind of dashboards for me. I mean, Amplitude now has a possibility too, so I could go here, ask Amplitude, and then it can do stuff. But that's not what I'm looking for because like I already know what I want to do. So I have a metric tree and in the end like I want to visualize it. So, but what I do is I'm using AI as a feedback loop. So basically like the typical things, I could create this and put this into Slack and ask one of my colleagues, what do you think? Or what you would do? You have some ideas? What you would improve? So you could do this 1 or 2 times, but after some time, people would be annoyed by that because like you're always interrupting them, and it really takes some time to think into this. And so where I'm using AI at the moment quite a lot is to just get a separate pair of eyes. I mean, maybe not eyes, but let's say a pair of algorithms to give me some ideas what I can maybe improve. And this is helpful in a lot of different areas. So, but especially like I often use it in areas where I'm not really confident. But I also like sometimes, I mean, honestly, I run different kind of metric trees through let's say an AI as well, like through an AI chat as well, because I want to make sure, okay, what are kind of different kind of angles that I might miss? Because I mean, obviously, there can be interesting things. So sometimes it happens that like the AI is just trying to, so it's like the eager student who says like, okay, I cannot really say it's good, so I just have to tell something. So sometimes this happens that like, oh yeah, look, you can do this. But the interesting thing is like you can just tell, no, this is not really making sense. Please be realistic. And but often it at least like gives some angles that I really have thought about, which is interesting, which I can then think about to incorporate. But with dashboards, it's, I mean, obviously, so I can definitely need some help here. And so if someone is watching who really loves to create dashboards, they might already cringe a little bit when they see my stuff, or maybe not. So I mean, happy to let me know what you think. But okay, I'm looking for some improvement. So what I do is like I can approach it from different kind of angles. So I could take a screenshot of the whole dashboard and could explain to, so I'm using Claude today. So I could explain to Claude and can say, okay, look, this is my full dashboard. I'm trying to incorporate this kind of metric tree and this kind of dashboard. What would you say? Does the structure make sense? So maybe this is a good starting point. So let's do this. So first of all, I have to create a screenshot of the whole dashboard. Luckily, there are some extensions that do this stuff for me because yeah. So now we have the whole image, and I just can copy it. So I will already paste this in. And I guess I will also make a quick copy of the metric tree, at least of the upper part here, so that the model has a bit more context. So let me add this. And so now I can write my prompt. So I guess no one here watching wants to see me write live or really like long prompts. So I can show you one thing that I'm using lately quite a lot. And this is a really useful tool when you, how to say, at least for me, it was a little bit like, for me, it was a bit weird to use it in the first place. And I really had to push myself. But once I pushed myself, it went increase was like, yeah, I think I cannot really live without it anymore. And this is like just dictating prompts and dictating most of the things. So there is a tool called Super Whisper. I think it's only available for Apple products, I think for macOS and for iOS. And so then, I mean, I think there might be others who do the similar job, but what it does is like, so I have a keyboard shortcut where I can open it up. I can quickly say what I want to say. I can even wrap it around with some kind of prompts if I want to. And so then it creates a transcript. And usually like it optimized the transcript already. So it takes my and repetitions out, which I often have when I just dictate stuff. And it puts in the results in there. So, and this makes it, especially like for these kind of tasks, really, really helpful because obviously I want to provide some context, but if I would have to type it, it would slow me down significantly. So let me do this. So you will not see Super Whisper because like I'm just sharing this window, but I mean, in the end, it's just like, it's just a control that now goes up and checks that I'm recording something, but then you can see the text coming in here. So let me quickly do this. Okay, Claude, I need your help to provide me some feedback about a dashboard design. So I want to create a dashboard that represents the metric tree that I also attached. And so the dashboard should show the metrics that are present in the metric tree. And it should also show some context. So, I mean, you can see my design. So I'm using some time series to at least visualize how specific kind of developments are happening. And so I'm super interested in your point of view, if you see some kind of areas for improvements, so that I can improve the whole dashboard experience. So my audience is usually like people not very data literate. So I want to make it as easy as possible for them to start using the dashboard. Okay, so this is my prompt. So now it's processing, and it just quickly makes a transcript. And as you can see, it's pretty quick and pretty fast. So the nice thing is, like with AI, I don't really have to format it properly. And Grammarly is not so happy, would like to improve, but again, like I don't have to have it super perfect in here, so I can just bring it in. So let's see what we can get back. And so obviously a lot of text, so we have to scan over it quickly. And again, like this at least for me at the moment, this feels the right state for it. So I don't really want to automate it yet because like there's stuff in there where I would say, yeah, so what? So it's not really so important. But I like it that I can now go through and say, okay, this makes sense. So, okay, let's go quickly through it. Like hierarchy layout. So current layout doesn't reflect the hierarchy shown in the metric tree. Right. Group related metrics together more tightly, perhaps using bordered section. Okay, so this is a quite valid point. So what I could do, for example, I could add some text in here and could say, okay, VIP customers, and I could also add this here as well as returning customers. Okay, this might already improve something, so nice. Okay, maybe just call this here new customers. Okay, good point. Obviously, you always have limitations. So in Amplitude, I cannot really build a full metric tree design because like it doesn't have the possibilities. So some metric labels are truncated. Yeah, that's definitely true. So maybe this is something we can just focus on in the next step. Add brief explanations and tooltips for each metric to help less data literacy. Oh, this may be quite a good idea. I'm not really sure if Amplitude allows me to have, I can have some nodes. Okay, let me see what nodes does. Add a node. New customers. Customers bought. Okay, I can write it better, but it bought something for the first time. Oops. In the last 30 days. Okay, let's do that. Oh, look. Oh, yeah, that's quite nice. Obviously, I think it's okay. Visually, it could be a little bit nicer, but still, at least I've been given some context here. Okay, good. Yeah, good idea. I could now do it for everything. Okay, good point. So then visualization improvements. The time series graph are good for showing trends, but consider adding visual aids like trend lines and color coding for highlight important changes. Yep, that would definitely interesting. So, but it might be that we are limited because like, not really sure if we could do that. So as I said, like I'm lazy with this stuff. So I know some people who are so deep into Amplitude who know all this stuff, how to format charts. So for me, it would be like to really figure it out. But it's okay. So we will do a detailed analysis in a second. So let's take this in the next task. Okay, contextual information. Add a brief summary or key takeaways section at the top of the dashboards to highlight the most important insights. Yeah, maybe it's not a bad idea to do. So I have some instructions here how the whole thing works. Obviously I could have a let's say TLDR and could just write something. This is a nice thing. So for example, also like helping this with Gen AI, but always be careful. So this is a demo setup here, so I can send this data anywhere. It doesn't really make any harm. I could obviously take a screenshot of everything and can ask Claude, hey, can you write me a quick summary of what kind of trends we are seeing? But obviously you're sending your precious company data to a third party. And so you should consider if this is a good idea or not. So maybe explore local things, or maybe, oh, I cannot ask, okay, I thought I could ask Amplitude just on this dashboard. This would be nice. Anyway, maybe it works, so I have to figure out. But this is a good idea. So maybe we should have a summary at the top Good idea. Okay, yeah, add interactive elements like drill downs. Yeah, that could be a good idea. I don't know how much possibilities I have. And sure, consistent time ranges. I think they should be. Uh, I mean, yeah, so because like this is a bigger one, so but no, yeah, no, this starts in March. This also starts in March. So I mean, it's just not really visible, but let's say the time periods are the same. Okay. Narrative flow, consider rearranging to tell a story. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could definitely do this, at least like this better text. Okay, well, that's a good first start. And so what I usually do, I won't do it now because like it takes quite a while, but what works really well is, so I can do some adjustments here, and then I can just take the adjustment and say, okay, what do you think now? And so it develops like really like a back and forth, and you can really, at least like at some point you come to a point where usually like then the model says, well, I think we covered what I can provide. Sometimes it doesn't, like sometimes it still falls into this eager student mode to always say, yeah, I found something else, where you say, oh, come on, this is ridiculous. It doesn't really not important. But you can also like then tell the model and can say, well, actually, it doesn't really make a big difference. So, okay, are we done or not? Okay, this helps. So you can use it for the whole structure, for the whole layout. You might can also use it. I haven't tried this yet to outline if you really want to start with a specific kind of dashboard. But one thing which I often, at least like then also like use a lot, is to improve, let's say, single charts. So I could go in and could say, okay, is this actually really helpful? So let me take a quick screenshot of that, and I can give the quick instruction here. All right. Okay, I'm providing you now with a single chart from this dashboard, and I would like you to help me to improve this single chart. So I think I can definitely improve it maybe with this better naming, with other kind of elements. So I definitely want to go one level down now and to really improve the whole dashboard chart by chart. And so I hope you can help me to give me some ideas what I can do better. Okay, so here's my text. And I see. Yeah. Okay, that's already good starting. So again, like my titles are usually very technical, so it's not really good. So um yeah, let me do this monthly total revenue. So we can definitely work on that. Let's move in here. Okay. So what else? Okay, that's good. Now my browser is freezing. Okay, it's coming back. Good. Y-exit. Format the Y-exit to use a more readable format, like e.g. 12 million instead of 12,000 K. Well, that's interesting. So now we come to the point where we really have to see if the tool is capable of doing that. So let's quickly let me reload it. Again, like I never really invested any kind. Oh, look here, customize y-axis. So we're also learning a little bit about amplitude chart formatting. So obviously it's like revenue, but it looks like we cannot really change the format. So we can just give it a title, obviously, then we have the revenue here. I mean, of course, like we could do revenue in, let's say, no, it's not euros. Okay, I have a European keyword, so I have to do euros. Okay, revenue in euros. So it would be nice, obviously. So I mean, of course, like in typical BI tools, it would be possible for me to basically format the let's say the data type. So I can't do it here, but at least like this is already some kind of improvement. So that's good. Add markers for each month to, yeah, I mean, I think we had a marker for each month, so I think this should be okay. Add data labels for key points, highest and lowest value. So, I mean, obviously this would be interesting. So let me see if I can do this. No, so I can just initiate different kind of reports. I mean, this is normal amplitude thing. So obviously, because like we have this huge dip here, would be interesting to maybe watch some session replays from there. So because like there seems to be something off, but I cannot really add an annotation. I mean, I can add a comment. Yeah, but these are just generic comments. So, I mean, yes, I could at least. We see a dip in June that the data team is still investigating. So it takes them. They have so much stuff to do. Investigating. Okay. Okay, right now it's just visible to me. I mean, obviously we are in a demo environment, so I think I'm not even possible that I can make it public, but obviously like you can decide with your comments. So this is a nice thing when you use comments here. So you can comment for yourself to give you some context, but you can also like add the comments for everyone else. So yeah, exactly. So we are in the demo. This is why we can't see it. So this is not perfect because like we could not really add it here, but still like if people click into and so then they can immediately see, okay, there are some comments to this chart, and so they can easily check it out. So let me have a final one, and then we can basically close it. Remove all users from the legend. Yeah, that's right. I'm also not sure if I could. Oh yeah, I could. Can I just get rid of all the legend? Can I just do this? No. We could do the same thing again here. Yeah, monthly revenue, monthly total revenue. At least this is better. So, okay, this. Yep. This definitely has an improvement. And honestly, this is something that, so let me save that. And it sounds a little bit ridiculous, but especially like when you really, let's say, your head down and creating these analyses. At least for me, these are usually like the things that that I overlook pretty easily because, like, I mean, I created it. For me, it's super obvious what I'm seeing here, and I sometimes miss the ability to just take a step in the shoes of my users, of my dashboards and reports, um, and and this helps me at least. Like I really profit a lot when I show stuff to other people, so they can tell me, hey, maybe you can do this. But obviously, I cannot always ask someone. So this is like why I'm using this method, what I just showed you here, quite often. I mean, I also use it for SQL queries. I use it for a lot of things where I think, well, I guess it's not really good. Yeah, or let's say we're at 75%, and maybe I at least want to get it 85%. And so this can really help. So I encourage you to run some feedback sessions with, say, any kind of model that you prefer, and just check it out if it works for you. And try it in multiple scenarios because like one scenario might not really work for you. But it's definitely helpful. I mean, it's not automation yet. I mean, we might get there. And I tested some tools where you can do this immediately, applying the changes automatically. And I mean, of course, it's cool, it's nice. But this is already like, I like it that in the end, like I still make the decision on it. So it's definitely good for that. Okay, let's see. So if there are any kind of final questions, I mean, it's at least like for everyone from Europe, it's already pretty late. It's pretty late for me. I'm also pretty tired after 2 days. of conferences, I would just say great. So everyone watching and watch other talks, thank you so much for watching. And now I can think about when and how and if I will do the same format next year, but so I need to take a break from it. But again, like I had a lot of fun with it, and so I can definitely see a return of a similar format as well. So with that, have a great day, great evening, and yeah, see you around. So if you have any kind of feedback, any kind of questions, so you can always DM me on LinkedIn. So I'm usually okay with writing back.